All right. What is groovy? What is good? We are back with another raid Shadow Legends video. It's your boy Papa Capes. Welcome. It's been a hot minute. I know that. However, even though the uploads may have slowed down, I've been on the grind. My account has still been progressing, and we've still been having tons and tons of fun. There have been some crucial pulls. I know the last video I spoke about struggling with Nether Spider, struggling with Dark Fae in the past, and there have been certain pulls that have helped me, certain champions that have been introduced to my roster, luckily, that have helped me with this content. And then also, a certain grind is now finally finished, but the reward, I don't feel my account is ready for it just yet, and we will be diving into it just a little bit later on in the video. But yeah, let's get right into it, Joe. So, real talk, real quick. I'm not just gonna stay silent. I'm not one of those people who hide behind a mask or any of those things. Life has been crazy. Life happens. We all know it. And I take pride in my passion for mental health. And instead of putting on a mask every time I come to record a video, instead I just took time away and dealt with these things myself. I didn't want to force any uploads just to fill space. I understand that this is a journey that I'd like to succeed in, but I'm also wanting to stay true to myself. And I want the content to be content that I enjoy. Not content I think is gonna go viral, not content I think everybody wants. I want to create content that I enjoy making, and that way I feel that you might enjoy watching it, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But yeah, my account has been cooking behind the scenes, and today we'll be diving into some of the key champions that I've been lucky enough to pull, some of the content that we've been struggling with, what content I beat that I was previously struggling with, and my direction for my account, where to next, if that makes sense. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so one of the major things I wanted to start out by talking about is the specific champion that I was working towards getting, and we finally got her. However, the grind was dope. The grind was absolutely enjoyable. I had fun with the grind. There were times that I was a tad overwhelmed, but nothing made me complacent, nothing made me despondent or disheartened. And we finally got her. I pulled it during CVC, as it's always best to pull these champs during CVC. However, like I said in the intro, I just don't feel that my account is ready for her. So I'm sure by now you guys know who it is. As you can see, we've got Romantu missions and Marius missions. So spoiler alert, the champion I am talking about is Arbiter. We have pulled Arbiter. I'll jump into my build and everything in the future. She has made an impact instantly in my live arena. I use her as bait in live arena because everybody bans her, but then my main team is able to just do its thing. And then also in classic arena, she's made a difference. She's made an impact. However, I do not feel that I'm utilizing her to the best of her potential. So I will be jumping, deep diving into her in one of the next videos. If not the next video, the video after that. Just to kind of go through the gear that I've got, what type of gear I should potentially look at putting her into. Because again, like, I never thought that I would get Arbiter because of how unrealistic it seemed because of the grind it takes to get her, but we got her. So I have no idea what to do with her in terms of builds, in terms of gear, in terms of relics, in terms of blessings. Yes, I've done my research and everything, but as you guys know, I prefer going on this journey with you, learning with you, trial and error, making mistakes, learning from those mistakes, getting advice from you guys in the comments. That's literally been the most valuable thing since I've started this journey creating content on YouTube, is the input received from you all in the comments. So please, 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 we are back. I am so reliant on those comments. Hook a brother up with some advice, some information, and we'll take it from there, yo. The next thing I want to dive into is new champs that have been added to my roster. And keep in mind, the crazy thing is, everything I pulled have been from ancient shards, the blue shards. So it's kind of crazy. Not a single legendary was pulled from a sacred shard. Not a single legendary was pulled from a void shard. The first one I'd like to touch on is one that made an instant impact on my account, which is Wither the Crowned. She came in, and I don't know if you guys remember, I struggled with Nether Spider. I genuinely struggled with Nether Spider. We tried different formations, we tried different setup of teams, and I just never had a cleanser. When that video went live, I know now it's a long time ago, almost 2 months, but the day that video went live and we established that I needed a cleanser, that's the day I pulled Wither. So for those of you that don't know Wither, Her A1 attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance of placing a leech debuff for 1 turn, also places 15% continuous heal buff on a random ally for 2 turns. She is a defense damage based champion, and her A2 Places a 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. Also increases the duration of all continuous heal buffs on all allies by 1 turn. Then instantly activates any continuous heal buffs on all allies. But the big one that helped me with Nether Spider removes all debuffs from all allies, then heals all allies by 30% of this champion's max HP. Cleanser, baby! So yeah, she came in clutch, helping me with Nether Spider. She also got a passive, places a 15% continuous heal buff on the ally with the lowest HP for 1 turn at the start of each turn. I'm not going to deep dive into this build as yet. If you guys want me to deep dive into the build, please let me know, and I'm happy to do that. She has an aura for ally resistance in all battles by 50, and I've currently got it in survival instinct because we've got a 2-star awakened. And as you can see, we've got it in some stone skin, we've got it in some perception, pinpoint, chronophage, and feral. She's currently pulled with 192 speed. She's got just over 3k defense, almost 85k HP, 100% crit rate, 122 crit damage, 274 resistance, 172 accuracy. So yeah, that was really dope. The fact that I pulled her the day after I uploaded the video of struggling with the Nether Spider. She came through. Nether Spider's currently not in the Doom Tower rotation, but trust me when I say she was the champion that made a difference. I fiddled with so many low rarity champions that I might have had that did a cleanse, and they just weren't strong enough. Their cleanse didn't come consistently enough. But with the introduction of Wither the Crowned, Nether Spider has no longer been a problem for me. On to the next one, we also pulled Glaykad of the Meltwater. Another phenomenal champion. Let's just briefly go through his kit for those of you that don't know. He attacks one enemy twice. Each hit has a 35% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. If the target has 50% HP or less, this debuff cannot be resisted. An attack-based champion, and his A2 is places a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. Also has an 80% chance to place a perfect veil buff on all allies except themselves for 2 turns. Then fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%. A3 revives all dead allies with 40% HP and 25% turn meter. This is another thing that's been absolutely massive for my account, because before Glaykad, the only multi-reviver I had was Ugo. And Ugo, she only revives everybody if she's the last one alive in the team. So Glaykad has no limitations or no restrictions on that revive outside of the cooldown. But to carry on with this, it also places a 50% increased accuracy buff and a 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 3 turns. These buffs will be placed even if no allies were revived. If no allies were revived by this skill, grants this champion an extra turn. Please bear with me, my seat still drops its suspension by itself, so let me just put this thing back up. All right. And then to touch on the passive, allies under a perfect veil buff placed by this champion deal 10% more damage. Allies under a perfect veil buff placed by this champion deal an additional 10% damage to enemies under veil or perfect veil buffs. And then a 19% speed aura in all battles. None of my champs have been built exceptionally well. I still oftentimes shuffle gear because of the free gear removal, but I'm trying to get to a place to where I can use them all in, let's say, tag team arena, or now with the new content, the Grim Forest. I'd like for them all to be in their own gear, although I think you can change gear in Grim Forest. Not 100% sure. Chronophage, why did I say Chronophage? Well, I'm not lying. Chronophage is there, but then we've got some bolster, some protection, some stone skin, and some feral. And he has just over 60k HP, just under 2k attack, just over 3k defense, 203 speed, 50% crit rate, 129% crit damage, and then accuracy is at 181 with resistance being at 139. So this wasn't a pull, but I mean, you guys know Xenomorph. I'm still working on a build, focusing on accuracy, focusing on ignore defense. I actually did this today, so I'm still need to test it. Not sure what content to use him in. I've been doing some research on him. My homie Siki actually caught me out with this next one, because we were chilling in Discord and I said, Skinny, I'm going to be pulling 10 Ancients. I'm not going to be recording it because I'm not really hoping for a Lego. I'm not really hoping for an epic. All I'm hoping for is it Penitent or Pentinent, which is a rare champion that I need for my Raz Infusion. And that's all that I was hoping for, so I'm not going to record. And there Siki was like, didn't say anything in the voice chat with me, but then I pulled Cupidus. And as far as I know, he's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. But before I jump into his kit, at the end of it, I just stayed quiet. And Siki was like, yes, I got him. And he recorded it while I was screen sharing on Discord. But I have no idea, never heard of this champion before, never seen this champion before. I know that he's an HP burn, so he might be a good replacement for my Supreme Gallic. but I am not 100% sure. His kit comes through A1, attacks all enemies. Damage increases by 15% if the target has any debuffs on them. His A2, again, another AoE, attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 2 turns. A3 places a 50% increased attack buff on themselves for 2 turns, then attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing an HP burn debuff on all enemies for 2 turns if this attack kills an enemy. This debuff cannot be resisted. And then the passive attacks inflict 25% more damage, always counter attacks when attacked, only available when Venus is on the same team. We don't have Venus. Then it's got a 33% increase ally attack in all battles by 33%. There's one more, Morley. Yes! Morley tank card is another one we were lucky enough to pull. Again, she's not built, not at all. You can see that she's got some jewelry on because obviously I've used the in faction walls already. But just to run through her kit real quick. A1 attacks one enemy, damage increases by 50% if the target is under an HP burn debuff, defense-based damage champion. Places a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn, has a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 2 turns instead. Places a 30% reflect damage buff on this champion for 2 turns. Wait, that's a provoker. I don't have like a high level provoker. I think Duck the Pierce is the only other provoker that's decent that I have. Revives an ally with 50% HP and fills their turn meter by 50%. Then places a block damage buff on that ally for 1 turn. Hold up, she's Reviver with Provoke? Why does that feel like it could be kind of dope? And then the passive is fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% when this champion is hit. Fills the turn meters of all allies by 25% when this champion is hit by a boss. Turn meter control internally, so not like the ops, but she controls turn meter, so boosts turn meter. She does provoke and she does revives. She could be kind of nice with it, yo. Those are the only crazy legendary pools. As you can see, we've got Syl from the logins. Still haven't built April properly, not 6-starred her. Elena Roll as well. Nothing special. We have finished a couple of masteries. Not on Lemonisi. Mikey's just got 1 left. Withers got 2 left. Galec's been finished for a long time. We finally finished Artor's masteries. So he is part of my main arena team, my main live arena team and classic arena. So this is dope. And then we've also finished Arbiter's masteries. We gemmed that though. Claycad's got 4 left. Rector's finished. Venomage is almost finished, which is going to be good for Demon Lord. Geo's finished, that was gemmed. Duck, haven't even started yet. Ugo's finally finished, which I know Ugo wasn't finished previously. I gemmed him. Fane, not even started. Gom, Vogarth. Vogarth we've been working on. Kale's finished, yeah, we haven't even started with Xeno. Syl we've started with Cupidus, we just got yesterday, so literally nothing. Outside of that, there are some new epics that have been introduced to the roster since the last upload. Obviously, we got the Dark Alhain from the daily login, but then we opened another one from a shard, and then we got one from that game mode that came in. That game mode that was like Mega Bonk and Raid had a baby. She was like a reward for that. So I just +2'd her. Specifically for Faction Wars, I think. I don't think it was for Faction Wars. It might have been for Ice Golem. There was some content that I needed it in. I hate the fact that I cannot remember, but that's why we +2'd her and it made a difference. Could have been Dark Fae. Could have been Dark Fae. Ooh, Dark Fae is currently in Doom Tower rotation and I finished the whole Doom Tower normal, so we'll double check. Got some awakenings for Bellower, but it's nothing major. We pulled Skull Crown as well, which is new from a Void Shard. She is new. Then we also pulled Mausoleum Mage, Phoenix. So I'm just showing you all of the newer champs. Sylar, Masamoto, I think is new. This is from Doom Tower, we pulled him. I think that's everybody that's new. And then we got her from Daily Logins as well. Tainix, Hate Flower. Okay, all of these are new. Alaric the Hooded, Lorne the Cutter, Sion, Odin, Sandlashed Survivor, Bushi, Pan the Bowhorn, Old Gruckus, Excruciator, Carlinia. That sums up the champions. I might have forgotten 1 or 2, but nothing insane, nothing major. I don't know how to categorize any insane gear that I might have come across recently. One thing I learned about gear that I never knew before, the fact that you can re-roll Ascensions, okay? Which I did here for an example. So I never knew this prior, but you can re-roll Ascensions. And speed is one of the ascensions that you can get on your boots. So you can literally get an additional 12 speed on a boot. So as you can see, we've got the max ascension with speed there. and then it's a 6-star epic, which is 45. And yeah, so it uses Chaos Dust, and I don't actually know where to farm Chaos Dust from. I had 36 when I started reworking boots, but I have no idea where I got it from. Could be Live Arena. Genuinely speaking, no idea. I'll check it out. As we go into Doom Tower, we have cleared Dark Fae. I want to jump into team used for Dark Fae because there is something I want to speak about here. This wasn't originally the team I used for Dark Fae. I used websites like Hell Hades, and I did some research and other content creators on what they use for Dark Fae. But then I thought to myself, yo, I've got a speed-tuned arena team. Can I not just take that and hope for the best and maybe introduce Geomancer? So I took my main arena team, which is Galek, Mikey, Ugo, and Arbiter, and I threw Geomancer in. And boom, we were able to beat Dark Fae with this team. I'm just going to go into like the higher floors. So there you can see the Dark Fae team that I used. Celestial Griffin, that's the team I used for Celestial. And then for Scarab King, this is the team I used for Scarab King. And Bommel, this is the team I used for Bommel. And then we have made some progress through hard. Key teams could probably be the same. Which I'm just going through the content so that you can see the teams that I used briefly. Celestial is a very easy boss to fight. So yeah, well, at least my account, it feels easier on my account in comparison to other bosses. And I think this is as far as we get. I haven't actually tried to put time into this Bommel. Like I said, things have just been a bit crazy. Cool, that's Doom Tower. Huge W's on getting through Dark Fae. And like I said, instead of going with like a crazy meta team that was like recommended by sites like Hell Hades or Ayumi Love or any of those things, I just thought to myself, like, I need speed. I need to attack first. I need to attack hard. The only team I have that does that is my arena team. Threw them in there and boom, it worked. So yeah, we finished Nightmare Campaign. I think I updated that in that video, in the last video already. So let's go to dungeons. All potion keeps are at max. Minotaur's obviously at max. We have started farming hard Ice Golem. The team that I use for Ice Golem is Geomancer, Mikey, Galek, Vogarth, and Claycad. And then we've also been farming Hard Dragon. Team I use for Hard Dragon, Duck the Pierce and Venomage comes in, and Ugo. Spider, we haven't broken into hardest yet. Haven't really tried, haven't like focused and been like, okay, let's get into hard Spider. And then Fire Knight, also not into hard. The team that we're currently using, this is not the team we're currently using. Because I know that Vogot is in my Fire Knight team. I know that Arbiter is in my Fire Knight team. So this isn't the team we're using. I think that I took the clan quest to place 10 simultaneous debuffs on stage 15 or higher of Fire Knight. And that's why this team is there, for those debuffs on Fire Knight. Sand Devils, which event is currently like running, Gear Ascension event. And it's pretty cool. That's the team I'm currently using for the highest stage of Sand Devil that I can farm. And then Phantom Shogun. So interesting thing happened with Phantom. Team I'm currently using with Phantom, I learned something and I need to do research about it. It just came to my mind now when I saw Phantom. Is that awakened champions in Phantom Shogun depletes the counter of some ability for Phantom Shogun. So like my Lebanese 5-star awakened attacks, removes a value of 5 from that counter. So I don't know anything about that. I will do some research into it. I just dig finding out these things that are new. If you know what it's about and you can explain it in layman's terms for me to understand, please feel free, again, go into the comments and let a brother know, yo. Yeah, so even though, like I said, I didn't upload, I don't just want to upload quantity over quality. I would like for, even if the videos don't go viral or don't do exceptionally well, I would like to be content and happy with what I'm uploading. So if I'm having fun doing it and I'm speaking about things that provided me with joy and provided me with fun, I want to upload those things. I get excited about uploading it. That's why, even though the uploads have come to a halt, we're back. On that note, let's go to daily login rewards just so you can see the age of my account. So today was day 222. Yeah, and I think outside of that, this is just me saying I'm back. I'm currently sweating. It is super hot in South Africa today. But yeah, I've got a ton of content planned, a lot of updates coming through, and especially Grim Forest. I mean, look at the entire aesthetic of Raid currently. One thing I've learned or realized is that although I'm late to the game, we've been playing now for, like I said, 222 days. What's refreshing as somebody that's just playing the game is that there's still new content coming through. Like, for example, Grim Forest is new for everybody, right? But also something as stupid as the current aesthetic. I've never seen this before as a Raid player. This is my first Christmas whilst playing Raid. Does that make sense? So these little things, it just makes the game so much more fun, so much more enjoyable for me. So yeah, that's just touching on a few of the core updates that I feel. Again, I didn't want this video to be super overwhelming with tons of information, and then we jump from this to that to everywhere. I just wanted to kind of refresh your memory if you are one or two of the people who actually are interested in my account's progression and my account's journey. Then this is mainly for you guys, and any new viewers coming in that might potentially stay for the journey, it's for you guys as well. Free to play update will be coming as well, which will be very similar style to this, but just to update you on the free to play account. I know that there are some of you that actually started with the exact same link that I started with, so that's pretty cool. So there's been massive pulls on the free to play account as well. Holy snap, that's pretty cool. And then yeah, from there on, we will continue doing the content that we enjoy. But if there's any recommendations from you guys, from what you'd like to see me try and do, or a style of content you'd like to see me try and add and put my flavor on it, or just stick to what I do, if it's fun for me, I'm gonna record it and upload it. I think the last thing I'll touch on to is something that I know nothing about. Brand new, some of you might feel the same way. But yeah, just to show you my deck, I started this last night on normal. We have made some progress through Grim Forest. As you can see, squad progress level 4. Finished a couple of bosses. I don't know if these are bosses, but let's call it bosses. And we finished some content as well. Got some energy, so I'll probably farm some more of this tonight. And I'll do some research into the gear, do some research into the coins, and just educate myself with these things. But I think that is a perfect opportunity to call it there. Don't ever do what I'm about to do, but we need Penitent, so I'm gonna open shards just to prove to Siki that when I open shards whilst recording, it makes no difference. Summon to reserve vault. Please don't ever do this, guys. Kites. Okay, well, I wasn't expecting an epic. But yeah, don't ever open shards unless you are opening it in it 2 times. Do not do what I'm doing now. This was just me being hopeful, reaching. But on that note, thank you for popping in. I have missed you guys. I truly hope that maybe 1 or 2 of you missed my content, missed the energy, missed the vibes. We are back. Consistent uploads. On that note, happiness is a choice. Kindness is free. Leave your mark, yo. Peace out. Oh, P.S. If I do sound different, I did a fresh install of Windows and I redid my sound, my audio, my microphone. So yeah, this is how I sound. It is what it is.